Hello everyone, my name is Michael SK, and welcome back to Fate Stay Night Remastered. In the last episode, we went to check out the Kyoto Club. We had to bring some lunch by because, well, we were kind of summoned to do so, or whatever, and I don't think that happened in the previous go-around, so we came here, hung out with everybody, and now it's time to depart as club practice ends by the time the sun sets. That was an awful transition. I tried, though. Actually, before we really continue on here in this episode, I'm back on my regular setup. So if you guys didn't know, from part 27 to 51, I think this is going to be 52, I was recording originally off my Steam Deck, and then I moved over to a temporary computer, and now I'm back on my regular computer. I have all my equipment set up and good to go yet again. So I just want to say thank you for you guys being patient and understanding of, how I wasn't really recording with my regular stuff. But if you guys were able to see how much I wanted to record, then I'm sure you completely were fine with the way that I was going about recording. It was a little different. It was extremely sketchy in the beginning. But man, did I want to continue some Fate. And Fate was really the only thing I had ready to go to record. I couldn't jump into Umineko because that was actually running off of a whole different setup that I'd have to completely reconfigure. This one, it's really just jumping back in. So I'm glad I got to continue on, finish the first route, and really, just jump into a whole lot more than I ever expected to be able to. So, guys, thank you so much. I'm really excited to continue on now that I'm back here on the regular setup. Let us get to it. The sun goes down early in winter, and they must be taking into account the incidents that have been happening lately.
そういえば三綴り、シンジのやつはどうしたんだ？
あいつはサボり。新しい女でもできたのか。最近はこんなもんよ。
Well, it's very likely that he has his servant that came to him recently, and he's kind of been prioritizing that. But it would have been cool to see him here. Mitsuzuri says it as if it's nothing, and makes her way towards the school building.
じゃあね。私、職員室に用があるから。
I'm glad we got to see more of her, because I don't think she was present whatsoever in the previous go-around. The Kyoto Club captain leaves. I don't know why I added club in there, fiddling with the room key. It still works though, it still does. We're at the front gate. With the sun setting on the town below us, I part with the others along with Fujine, Sakura, and Saber. Everyone sees us off in high spirits as we start down the hill. So just a heads up that, my game is kind of bugged right now, and I actually can't see my mouse pointer unless I go off onto my other monitor and then come back to this one, but it keeps disappearing and there's, nothing I can do about it, and it's just kind of weird, so that's gonna be me for this recording session. We descend back into town. And beside me are Sakura and Fujine, and Saber follows slightly behind us.
はてな、あの子、どうして私たちについてくるの?
Oh yeah, you didn't get to meet her. Well, it seems as though she didn't think anything of it at the time, but is finally catching on.
ねえ、シロ、知り合い?
And this is the second time someone's asked me today. Thanks to Mitsuzuri for giving me a rehearsal, I'm able to answer without hesitation.
知り合いだよ。俺が連れてきたんだから当然だろ。
I answered as nonchalantly as I can.
やっぱりそうですよね。それで先輩、あの人とはどういったご関係なんですか? シロに外国人さんの友達がいるなんて聞いてなかった。
いや、友達じゃなくて親父の知り合いなんだ。親父が飛び回ってた頃知り合った人の娘さんだって。
The thing is, this lie or whatever story that he's, conjuring up here, it's the same thing that I'm pretty sure he came up with in the previous go around. And it's not too far off the mark now that we know
キリツグさ
everything.
んの？じゃああの子キリツグさんを訪ねに来たの？
そういうこと。今日からしばらくうちで暮らすからよろしくしてやってくれ。
Oh, they're not gonna like that. They're not gonna like that. Both Sakura and Fujine react in the same way at the exact same time. Well, if I was told that girl will start living with you today, then it would be weirder to not be surprised.
シロ、クラスってあの子と同居するっていうの？
同居じゃない。セイバーが滞在するのはほんのちょっとの間だけだ。宿として家を貸すだけなんだから、そう驚くことでもないだろ？
先輩、あの人セイバーさんって言うんですか？
That is correct.
ああ、珍しい名前だけどな。あんまり日本に慣れてないんで変わったところもあると思う。あ、それと不愛想なやつだけど根はいいやつなんだぞ。
はい、それはいいですけど。
Sakura doesn't make eye contact with me and looks at Fujine as if pleading for help.
藤村先生はセイバーさんの滞在を許可するんですか？
教師としては当然アウトなんだけど、キリツグさんを頼ってきた子を無下にはできないし、しっかりしてるようだし、間違いは起きないかな。ね、シロもそうなんでしょ？
Yeah, totally. She gives me a sidelong glance.
当然だろ。親父の客なら俺の客だ。失礼なことなんてできないし、何より妹みたいなもんじゃないか。
Nice, we're setting the boundaries for this route.
そういえばあの子何歳？さくらちゃんより年下みたいだけど。
まあそんな感じかな。
Fujine stares into my face, and as we're at the bottom of the hill, suddenly...
シロ、あの子のこと好きなの？
No. Not in this go-around. Like her? No. But like her as a, as a servant? Yes. Surprise attack.
そんなの知るか。俺だって会ったばっかりなんだからどうこう言えるわけないだろ。
Ugh, my face is hot. I bet my face looks red to Fujine right now.
嘘はないけど脈はありか。
I don't know what she got that from. Or got from that. Fujine crosses her arms and goes quiet, as if she's thinking hard about something. I wonder what she's thinking about. As a result, Saber's stay was approved.
いいんじゃない？ホームステイと思えばいい経験だし、ここって無駄に部屋が多いもの。
Fujine's single option settles it, or single opinion, excuse me. Sakura didn't say anything the whole time, but in the end...
はい、私が意見できることじゃありませんから。
She agreed in the end. And so dinner time rolls around. I put in extra effort into making dinner to welcome Saber, starting with preparing salad-style seared bonito, and then fried chicken with a zesty green onion sauce, a classic meat and potato stew, and to top it off, a variety of tempura including shrimp. The menu is kind of all over the place, but... Oh man, no one's talking. It's just awkward. It ended without anyone saying anything. Splish splash. I washed the dishes in the kitchen. Not that I expected everyone to be the best of friends from day one, but could there have been a bit more conversation? I think I made the tempura especially good this time. It's straight instead of curved, and the outside is crunchy. It was perfectly made, so they could have at least said something.
そのくせ全部平らげるんだもんな。出たセリフがおかわりかける3ってのは何なんだ。
Splish splash. Cleaning up after 4 people takes a while. Now that I think about it, is Sakura protesting the situation by not helping today, of all days? Could be. It's past 9 p.m. They usually go home around this time.
藤根、帰るならさくらの見送り頼む。
I call out from the kitchen while washing the dishes. And there's no response. Fujine is watching TV as if it's not her concern.
もしもーし、聞こえなかったんですか、藤村先生。
I go to the living room and tap on her head. Then,
悪いけどそれは却下。しばらくはさくらちゃんを送ってあげられないから。
what does that mean?
なんでさ、藤根なんか用でもあるのか？
用じゃなくて、今日から私もここに泊まるから。
Oh boy. As if it were nothing, Fujine makes another sneak attack on me.
はい。
あ、さくらちゃんもどう？お家の方には私から連絡入れておくから安心だよ。女の子3人、一緒にいた方が楽しいでしょ。
Oh, Sakura would love nothing more than to stay here. See? See?
藤村先生、頼もしいです。
See, these two are on the same wavelength here. Wait, why are you so enthusiastic about it, Sakura?
よーし、それじゃあ奥の座敷を使おう。布団ならいっぱいあるし、浴衣も人数分あるわよ。セーバーちゃんもいいわよね。
Is it just me, or does it sound more like an order? Saber looks at me as if asking for help.
困りますシロ。私はあなたの守護をするのですから、彼女たちと同じ部屋では役目が果たせない。それに同室したところでどう対応していいものか分かりません。
悪い。藤根が言い出したら俺じゃ止められない。それにどうもこれを交換条件にしている節がある。
Oh yeah,
断ったら
definitely. More than
セイバーをうちに済ませ
likely
るって
here.
約束を破棄されそうだ。そうなったら俺たち外で野宿するしかないぞ。
それも困る。この屋敷の結界は優れていますから、拠点としては申し分ないのです。ここにいる限りシロは敵の奇襲に備えられます。
そうか。ならなおさら我慢してくれ。屋敷にいる限り何かあってもすぐに合流できるだろう。その藤根の相手は大変だけど、困ったら日本語わかりませんって言えばいい。
ほらそこ、内緒話は禁止なんだから。
Wait, if she doesn't know Japanese, how are they communicating right now in front of those two?
そういうわけでセーバーちゃんはこっち。シローは男の子なんだから一人でも平気よね。
Fujine pulls Saber to her. It's been decided. Saber's stay got approved, Fujine is staying over, and Sakura is keeping them company too. In only half a day, the occupancy has drastically increased. Actually, this really is comparable to a hotel. I mean, it's a big enough place. Might as well utilize the rooms once in a while. It's bedtime. I don't know what happened to Saber, but the lights have gone out in that room, and the sound of activity from it has gone silent. I've heard it gets noisy when there's 3 girls together, and it seems that is true even when they're quiet like Saber and Sakura are.
いや、違うか。メインで聞こえてきたのは藤根の笑い声だもんな。
Though it was still pretty noisy, it isn't good for my mental health to have girls the same age as me being rowdy under the same roof.
くそ。気になって眠気なんてなくなった。
Like Saber's troubled expression, if Sakura and Saber are getting along, or what Fujine is even thinking, and the more that I think, the more my head starts hurting. If it's like this, it might have been better if Saber slept in the room next to mine. It's 11 p.m. The lights are out in the house, and there's not a single sound outside. My hand goes to the door to slide it open and tiptoe by so Fujine doesn't hear anything. Let's see how that goes. I go out to the garden. The moon is shining bright, while the cutting breeze is cold. In the winter night, the world was silent, as if frozen. Time to visit the old shed. The shed has gone still. Excuse me, the place where I got cornered by Lancer yesterday, and the place where Saber appeared. The entrance is still open, and the darkness inside feels uninviting. But in we go. To our sanctuary. I go inside. Closing the door behind me to shut out the cold air, I turn on an old stove heater.
日に200以上の矢をかけろ。
The teaching of archery focuses on accuracy, piercing strength, and persistence. Accuracy is how well one can hit the target. Piercing strength is the power to pierce the target. And lastly, persistence is how long one can maintain the accuracy in piercing strength. I think I read it somewhere in an archery manual. Once one aims to be a shooter, after they learn the true meaning of Kyoto, they continue that forever. So they say to shoot over 200 arrows or something.
マスターとして何をするべきかわからないなら、せめて魔術だけは鍛えないと。
I sit down inside the shed and take a deep breath. I control my breathing and begin my regular training. My mind imagines the same thing that it always does. An image of a sword that comes to mind. I ignore that and clear my mind even more. Once I've let my magical energy flow throughout my entire body, I practice strengthening like usual. When I was attacked by Lancer last night, I succeeded in strengthening for the first time in a few years. I need to repeat it so that I don't forget the sensation, or else it would be a waste.
トレース。オン。
I narrow my eyes and breathe out deeply. It sucks that we don't have Rena on our side this time around because she really set us up to be pretty damn strong. That's all for now. I forget all about the Holy Grail War, Saber, and Tosaka once I immerse myself into the process. Clear all thoughts and hesitation from my mind. But during the process, the thought that Tosaka, who's a mage like me, might be doing the same kind of training never leaves my head. Well, she's doing a more, optimized form of training, instead of the bullshit that we're doing. Interlude. Are we actually going to see what she's up to? Because I'm down for that. She weaves her way through an unnatural darkness, a desolate night. While the moonlight shines, she makes her way through the dark hallway and enters a room. And this is a room of a random building. There are about 50 workers here. Most of them are male, and they are scattered like puppets with their strings severed. She grits her teeth. It helps that the darkness limits her vision. The rotten air is from a plant smell that turned into smoke and filled the air.
何の子だろうこれ。あーちゃん、あなたわかる？
Where are they? Opening the door and windows, she asks someone behind her. There is no one there, but in the shroud of smoke, a strong presence wavers.
魔女の難攻だろう。セリカの愛を破壊するとかいうやつかな。
それって毒人参でしょ？愛を破壊って。ああ、そういうこと。男に何か怨恨でもあるのかしらね。
だとすると、相手は女かな。いや、何の恨みがあるか知らんが、サーバントになってまで八つ当たりするとは根が深い。
脳書きはいいから窓を開けて。倒れてる連中はまだ息があるか。この分だと今から連絡するのも朝になって発見されるのも変わらない。用が済んだら手早く離れるわよ、あっちゃん。
I really want to point out that she really just told Archer, yeah, stop your mansplaining. You know what, never mind. I'm not gonna get into it. The word is really funny, I love the definition behind it and everything and how it's being used in such a serious sense here, a serious situation, if you will. She opens all the windows on one side, treats the people in especially bad condition, and leaves the room.
服、クリーニングに出さないと。
She sniffs her coat. Though she was careful not to touch things, for the most part, the scent of rust still made it onto her. The room was sealed, and the floor of that room was covered in the blood that 50 or so people threw up. The presence behind her takes form. What appears behind her is a knight in red. He is Archer, the servant who was protecting Rin Tosaka in spirit form.
それで、やはり流れは竜道寺か。
Oh, here we go.
そうね。奪われた世紀はみんな山に流れていってる。神都で起きてる昏睡事件はほぼ竜道寺にいるマスターの仕業よ。マスターがどれだけのやつか知らないけど、こんなのは人間の手に余る。
And
可
at
能
some
だとし
point,
たらキャスターのサーバントだけでしょ。
at some point, we also have an assassin going up there.
竜道寺に救う魔女か。となると、 昨夜は失態を演じたな。
失態？バーサーカーと引き分けたこと？あれは最善だったと思うけど。
どうかな。キャスターがそれほど広範囲な網を張っているのなら、
Oh, yeah, definitely.
昨夜の戦いも盗み見ていただろう。にもかかわらずバーサーカーを倒せず、セイバーさえ見逃し、こちらは手の内を晒してしまった。これのどこが最善だ？
I think in the previous go around, whenever we faced off against Ryder, you know, up on the rooftop and everything, and we found out that that Ilya and Berserker were hanging around to, you know, clean up the scraps. I think I have just like in the back of my mind the fact that any of the masters, any of the servants can be tuned in to anything that anybody is up to, especially if it's a fight. His tone is biting and sarcastic, but Rin does not answer. It was not a mistake to drive Berserker away and help Saber. And most importantly, Archer hasn't shown the full scope of his power yet. Last night, it is true that the arrow Archer fired stopped Berserker, but even Rin, his master, has yet to find out his identity or the identity of that powerful, noble phantasm.
Rim.
No, she knows the principle behind it. It was just a bomb. He just detonated a bomb called a noble phantasm in front of his enemy. And it goes without saying how exceptional it was. That was a one-time explosion of magical energy created using the most powerful of illusions, a noble phantasm. Broken phantasm. That is what the Red Knight's deadly noble phantasm is called.
Rim.
Though that itself is also strange, she's lost in thought here. Servants typically only wield one noble phantasm, and it is a part of them that they have had in their past life. What kind of heroic spirit would destroy such a thing so freely?
Rim.
It is not easy to fix a noble phantasm that has been destroyed. It's like committing suicide for a servant to destroy their own.
Rim.
In other words, Archer abandoned his strongest weapon in a situation where he still had 6 enemies he needed to defeat? No. More than that, other servants would faint if they found out he destroyed his own noble phantasm. It is their proof as a hero.
Rim.
何？ごめん、聞いてなかった。
Yeah, obviously.
今夜はこれからどうすると聞いたのだ。先ほどの戦闘で疲れているだろうし、大事を取って戻らないかとな。
Ring clenches her fist in response to Archer's words. The previous battle, a large number of skeleton golems wriggling in the hallway. All of them were destroyed by her own hand. She didn't need Archer's help and didn't want to expose Archer's abilities over something like that. More importantly, she felt anger towards enemies who break the rules as a mage and involve innocent people. That's why she destroyed them. She beat them without mercy until there was nothing left. She did not show any sympathy, even if the bones were someone that could have been alive until just the other day. She did not suffer any wounds from this battle, except one. She fought and kept the nausea from overwhelming her. In exchange, she bit her lips so hard that it bled.
キャスターを追うわ。気配はまだ残っているんでしょ？竜道寺に逃げられる前に型をつける。
何？驚いたな。できないと思ったことはやらないのが君の主義ではなかったか？
そうよ。私、結果が分かりきっていることはできない。けどこれは別でしょ？今から追いかければ尻尾ぐらいはつかめるだろうし。何より
喧嘩を売らなければ気が済まないか。やれやれ。倒しやすい相手を放っておいて、最も倒しがたい相手を追うとは。
いいのよ、セイバーのことは放っておいて。あんなのはいつだって始末できるんだから、別に目の敵にする必要ないじゃない。ちゃんとおとなしくしているんなら無理に手を出すこともないわ。あいつが家に隠れている分には見逃してあげるだけよ。
ほう。ではあのマスターが目の前にいれば話は違うのかな。例えば未だマスターとしての自覚もないままエミやシロウの方から君の前に現れたとしたら。
It's really obvious that she's avoiding the inevitable. They are enemies in this go-around, and she made that crystal clear. Will she really stand up for what she said, though? Those words are as if to test her, in a voice without emotion looking down at the night town.
殺すわ。
Oh,
そんなこともわからないやつにかける義理なんてない。
Green Tosaka asserts, as if to convince herself. Only one way to find out if she's really going to be up to the task. I don't know. I really don't. But there's our little interlude. Is there any more to this chapter to go? I mean, no, that's it. That is it. All right. So we'll save it on. So this is the beginning of day 4. So I'm trying to do it the beginning of each day. I still can't see my mouse pointer, so I'm kind of just guessing here with what I'm doing. And I've lost it. Yeah, that is an annoying bug. I think I know where it came from too. I had some stuff plugged into my computer, and it was like freaking the game out. And as soon as I unplugged it, it was all good. But I think now the game is expecting a controller. Maybe, I don't know. I did not see the title of this day. Winter 5 years ago. It was a beautiful moonlit night. I was just enjoying the sight with my father, Kiritsugu Emiya. It was winter, but it wasn't very cold. On the veranda, it was just a little chilly, the perfect weather to watch the moon. Kiritsugu didn't go outside much anymore. He rarely went out, and he spent most of his time lounging around the house. Every time I recall this, I still feel regret. Why didn't I realize that he was acting the way any creature does when they know their time is almost up? I think we've gone through this, but let's just go through it again. He blurted it out just out of nowhere. My father, who already seemed like a hero of justice in my eyes, said that as if he was reflecting on a memory.
なんだよそれ。憧れてたって諦めたのかよ。
I asked, unable to completely hide my disappointment. Kiritsugu smiled apologetically and looked up at the distant moon.
残念ながらね。ヒーローは期間限定で大人になると名乗るのが難しくなるんだ。
That made sense to me. I wasn't sure why, but if Kiritsugu said it, then it had to be true.
そっか。それじゃしょうがないな。
そうだね。
Kiritsugu nodded in agreement, so I just kind of blurted something out as if it were a natural thing to say.
しょうがないから俺が代わりになってやるよ。じいさんは大人だからもう無理だけど、俺なら大丈夫だろ。任せろって。
Because I'll make it a reality. The bold promise made my father smile. His face said everything I needed to know. Kiritsugu made a long, contented sigh and whispered. And there he closed his eyes, and so too his life came to a close. And this happened in the winter 5 years ago. Such was the parting that would determine the course of his life, the night that Shirou Emiya swore to be a hero of justice. There's no way I could forget. I never talk about this, but I still remember it. 10 years ago, a man saved me from a fire. He said thank you as he picked up the child who was unconscious, covered in burns and on the verge of dying. That he was glad to have found him. He smiled as if thanking someone, saying that he was glad to have been able to rescue at least one person. The emotion that I felt then is engraved in my mind. Nobody saved me. I couldn't save anyone. In the midst of that, I was the only person that was saved, and there was only one person who saved me. That's why I decided to be like him. I wanted to become a hero of justice that saves people and doesn't let anyone die. Even if it was a childish fantasy, I dreamt of doing so. And then, Kiritsugu, who was the embodiment of my dream himself, left behind his dream of becoming something like that and died peacefully. It's only natural for a child to follow in their father's footsteps. Shirou Emiya must become a hero of justice and save someone like me. Yeah, I strongly swore so as a child. Shirou Emiya would fulfill the dream on behalf of the man that he admired more than anyone else. But I don't really know, to be honest, if the way that I think is correct, where that way of thinking comes from, what I can do as an amateur. how to make the dream of making everyone happy that Kiritsugu would often mention, which is itself as far-fetched as magic, come true. Oh, and what I can do as a master now. There's too many things to think about that my head feels like it's about to burst. And we're awake in the shed. A nostalgic dream flitters through my mind, and then I wake. The bright morning light comes in through the window. It's chilly in my room, and my body feels it despite a blanket wrapped around me.
参った。またここで眠っちまったのか。
I shake my head and change from my coveralls to my school uniform. It's a bit before 6 a.m. Sakura is probably already up and making breakfast. You know, in this go-around, sure, we don't have Reen here, but it's still seemingly very lively. I make my way out to the yard and take in the morning air. It is a good morning. Though I'm preoccupied by the thought of the 3 girls also staying here.
あ、訂正。女の子は2人だけだった。
I'd be hard-pressed to call Fujine a girl. Anyway, now... shit. We can go and see how Saber is doing, go help Sakura, or wake Fujine up. Honestly, I'm gonna go for the help Sakura direction here. I'll go help Sakura out because, you know, we just didn't see as much of her in the previous go-around. I mean, it kind of makes sense. That was more of a focus on Saber and setting everything up, and just the living situation was totally different compared to now. So, while we have the chance, let's go hang out with Sakura, you know? She's making breakfast for 4 people, so it'll take longer. I also want to ask her about last night. It seems like Saber went with my story, but it's entirely possible they didn't get along, and I want to make sure everything's alright. Yeah, I think we'll get a pretty neutral, you know, opinion of things here, maybe.
ああ、おはよう、さくら。朝の支度なら俺も手伝うから。
I put on an apron and make my way into the kitchen.
じゃあ焼き物をお願いしますね。さっきご飯は炊きましたから、私はお味噌汁とお惣菜をやっつけちゃいます。
As always, Sakura is quick and efficient. She doesn't seem to be putting on a front, so it doesn't look like yesterday is particularly bothering her, but...
さくら、その、昨日の話なんだが。
はい。昨日の話って、どの話でしょう、先輩。
いや、だから昨日の話。さくらと藤音とセイバー、3人で寝ただろ。さくら、セイバーが住むことを気にしてたみたいだから、どうなのかなって。
どうなのかなじゃわかりませんよ、先輩。もっとはっきり言ってくれないと答えてあげません。
だから、仲良くやってくれると嬉しいんだが。
ああ、セイバーさんと私が仲良くすると、先輩は嬉しいんですか？
Yeah, something like that.
嬉しいっていうか、助かる。セイバーの住み込みは、さくらに無断で決めちまっただろ。だから、さくらが怒るのは当然で、セイバーを嫌うのも仕方がないことだ。けど、そのあたりを多めに見てくれて、セイバーに優しくしてもらえると、なんていうか。
セイバーさんにじゃなくて、私に嬉しい。
Yeah, sure, whatever. If that's the takeaway you want here. It's embarrassing to say it out loud, so I just nod. Yeah, I'd be thankful if she overlooked this and got along with Saber. Since Sakura is like family, I don't want her upset over something that I did without her input.
はい、そういうことならお答えしちゃいます。セイバーさんと私たちは昨夜の霊地をもって完全に和解しました。
Well, there we have it.
私はまだセイバーさんは苦手ですけど、それでも仲良くやっていけると思います。あの人、わかりづらいけど可愛い人ですから。
Sakura's smile is genuine and heartfelt. That makes me really happy. It truly does, but...
可愛いって、セイバーが？
そうですよ。藤村先生なんてセイバーちゃんって呼んでますし、セイバーさんも慣れてくれたみたいです。本当は監視するための糖質だったんですけど、
今夜も3人で寝ようってことになっちゃいました。
That is an unexpected turn of events. But Saber's cute side, huh? She certainly is rather beautiful, but cute doesn't seem quite right. Maybe in the previous route, but not here. We just have a different perspective, I suppose. Everyone digs in. This is the first time that the four of us are eating around the dining table. I can't help but feel that this is nice.
あれ、これ微妙に薄味だな。
はい、セーバーさん、お味噌汁に慣れてないと思って、あんまりお味噌が濃いのもダメかなって。
そうですね。昨夜の味付けより今朝の方が美味しいと思う。ですがさくら、私も和風の食事には慣れていますから、そう気を使わず自由に調理してください。
そうなんですか？わあ、ちゃんとお箸持ててる。びっくりしました。セーバーさんって器用なんですね。
慣れていますから。ですが正直に言うと箸は疲れます。フォークやナイフより優れた道具だとは思うのですが。
Honestly, I still absolutely suck major doo-doo ass with using chopsticks. It is so difficult. But I'm trying. Whenever I go out for Korean barbecue or something like that, I do try to utilize chopsticks.
そうだね。セーバーちゃんはお箸よりナイフとフォークだよね。それ違う。かけるのはソースじゃなくて醤油。
なるほど。忠告感謝します。
よしよし。報酬として海苔を1枚いただきましょう。はい、白おかわり。
はい。食いすぎて二度寝するなよ。
先生、今日の朝練に参加されるなら少し控えた方がいいと思いますけど。
大丈夫。これぐらい入れておかないとお昼まで持たないもの。そういうさくらちゃんだって朝練の後におにぎり食べてるじゃない。
先生、知ってたんですか？
無ふり。端っこでコソコソやってるから気になって観察してたのよ。ダメよ、いい年頃の女の子が朝2食なんて。
Ah, come on, everyone's a little
悪
different.
魔はこっそりとある日テロリストのように体重計に舞い降りるんだから私の読みではさくらちゃんの今の体重は。
ダメです先生。言ったらもうご飯作りに来ませんから。
Oh, she means business here.
それに間食は時々だけです。いつもそんなことしてるわけじゃありません。
Also, if you're like really active, like you're burning calories, you need to, take more in. Like it's a constant process. You gotta stay healthy some way.
あれ、そうなのか？朝飯いつもイチゴ多く炊かれてたから、てっきりさくらが握り飯でも作ってるんだろうなって思ってたんだけど。
先輩も知ってたんですか？
ダメさくらちゃん。シロね、そういう細かいことには妙に神経質なやつだから、きっと初めておやつを作った時から気づいてたわよ。
初めて？それって去年の夏のこと？
さくら、空中に埃でもあるのですか？
Don't worry about it. Nothing too important there, Saber. Breakfast proceeds like that. The morning is twice as noisy as usual. In the midst of that...
今朝未明に発見された被害者は
Oh
50名
yeah,
を超
here
え、
we go.
現在は最寄りの救急病院で治療を受けており、
Some disturbing news is on the TV.
シントでまたガス漏れ？うわー、今度は50人だって。何？被害者には昨夜から連絡が取れず、何人かの家族は不審に思い会社に連絡、警備員に確認させたところ、社内に残っている社員はいなかったとのこと。何これ？夕方からみんなビルの中で倒れてたのに、どうして警備員が気がつかないかな？職務怠慢とかそういうレベルの話じゃないよね。
Fujine must have lost her appetite as she stops eating her third bowl of rice. Wait, so she was so on it with Sakura and, how she was eating after practice or whatever. And she's the one that's actually eating the majority of the food here in the mornings. That's a constant thing. Saber's watching the news with a grim expression. In that case, there's no doubt. I don't know what their motive is, but this is something done by a master. It's fortunate that there were no deaths like the other gas leak incidents, but...
もう物騒だなあ。シロ、しばらく信徒でアルバイトするのは禁止だからね。貯金ならたくさんあるんだから、こんな時ぐらいゆっくりしなさい。
I appreciate that she's worried about me, but I can't reply. This is no time to be working anyway. But I won't be able to come home as often now that I'm at war. And so, when I can't come home, I'll have to lie and say that I'm working so I don't make Fujine and Sakura worry. No, that makes sense. Plus, I think we'll be okay, Well, okay to a degree, but I finish cleaning up and go to the front door. Fujine and Sakura already left for morning practice. Saber's trying to follow me again like yesterday, but I can't let her do that today. The weekends are fine, but there's no way I can bring Saber to school on a weekday.
Saber, 言っとくけど、ここまでだぞ。学校に行っている間はここにいてくれ。セイバーと一緒に学校に行ったら騒ぎが大きくなるし、何より目立つ。
Yeah, she's not gonna like any of the stuff we have to say here. She must not be satisfied as she silently protests.
だから大丈夫だって。人気があるところでは襲われないんだから、学校は安全だ。
Saber's eyebrow twitches. She must have an objection about the fact that I can protect myself.
一つ尋ねますが、それは白一人で敵を倒せるという意味ですか？
まさか。昼間なら一人でも危険を回避できるってことだ。人気のないところには近づかないし、日が落ちる前に帰ってくる。それならセイバーも納得がいくだろ？お前だって魔力を温存するために休んでなくちゃいけないんだから無理。
わかりました。マスターがそう言うのなら、私は信じざるを得ませんね。
She is seriously worried about my safety. I feel bad for turning her down.
悪い、セイバー。けど大丈夫だって。それにさ、俺の身に何かあったらセイバーにも伝わるんだろ？もしそうなったら駆けつけてくれればいいじゃないか。
いいえ、そうはいかないでしょう。私とシローのつながりは細い。マスターの危機が私に伝わるときは、シローの命そのものが危うくなっているときだ。
As we've seen
そうなって
previously.
から駆けつけても遅すぎる。
Honestly, I do see us having to utilize another command spell if we get into a situation very similar to the, Shinji and Ryder trying to kill us deal that we had going on, which was a really fun fight. That's probably still my favorite fight so far.
じゃあ、俺の方からセイバーを呼べばいいのか？
はい。シローが私を必要だと思えば、それはあなたのサーバントである私に伝わります。それでも間に合わないと判断したときは、レイジを使ってください。
Jump through space. Trust me, it does happen. That's really close to true magic, I think. The right to absolute obedience, the command spell, is something that powerful?
わかった。できるだけそんな事態にならないように立ち回る。日が落ちるまでには帰ってくるから、セイバーは留守を守っていてくれ。
I wave her goodbye and put my hand on the door.
はい。どうか気をつけてください、シロ。あなたの学校は異常です。行動には細心の注意を。特にリンには出会わないように。
Yeah, I know.
学校で遠坂が仕掛けてくるっていうのか？まさか、それこそありえないだろう。
I mean, if we're alone, yes. I think she's bound to attack us. I think Shinji would do the same shit. She is truly a mage. The association's rule to not involve any innocent people is ingrained in her, and she seems set on wearing the mask of the model student. I would think that she would even greet me casually if we see each other at school. No,
そうだといい
I
の
don't
で
think
す
that would even happen, honestly.
リンは人目を気にして判断を鈍らせるタイプではありません。それに、シロを敵視しているようですから、気をつけるに越したことはないでしょう。
はいはい。取り越し苦労だとは思うけど、気をつける。
Well, off we go to school. It's past 7 a.m. It's later than usual, but I should make it on time without having to hurry. Time for a nice waltz over to school, and there we have it. It's 7:40 a.m., so it's 40 minutes to walk over? God damn. Like, yeah, I definitely walked some pretty crazy distances whenever I was going to college, going to high school even, and especially university with my commuting. But, no, this is a bit much. That's a daily thing. I go through the gate with plenty of time as I make my way to the building. Uh-oh. I'm overcome with a strange feeling and stop in place.
なんだ別に何がおかしいってわけじゃないよな。
It's not like someone's watching me, nor is the view any different. If anything, it would be that it's muted. Like there's some sort of illusion going on. Everything, the students, the trees, even the school buildings all feel like they've lost their color.
気のせいかな。いろいろあって過敏になってるのかもしれない。
I close my eyes and rotate my shoulders. But, even after taking a deep breath, that unknown strange feeling doesn't disappear. I mean, we're probably feeling what Shinji and Ryder are, putting together here, but I don't think that the bounded field has been engaged yet. It's too early. I go up to the 3rd floor and head to my classroom. Then, oh shit, I run into Tosaka.
Yo.
But since we do know each other now, I casually greet her. But Tosaka is frozen as if she saw a ghost.
トサカなんだよ。顔になんかついてるのか
I wipe my cheek with my sleeve, or with the sleeve of my uniform. Tosaka still doesn't reply. Alright, she looks away and goes back to her classroom. I'm confused. What was with that reaction? I don't think it's like her to ignore someone who greeted her. The strange feeling hits me again once I enter the classroom. Someone might have brought in some snacks here, since I smell something slightly sweet.
別にいつも通りの教室だよな。
I greet the other boys and sit at my seat. There's 10 more minutes until homeroom starts. I look around the classroom and notice a seat without a bag.
シンジのやつ。
Come to think of it, he missed yesterday's practice too. Despite how he looks, Shinji is punctual and tries hard to follow the rules. It bothers me a bit that a guy like that has been absent for 2 days. Maybe there's something more going on with him than we think. It's lunchtime. I usually go to the student council room on the days that I make my own lunch. If I eat in the classroom, the guys will take my food and the girls will tease me.
なんだ一星、お前昼は食べないのか？
ああ、先ほど済ませた。今はともかく眠くてな。昼休みが終わる前に起こしてくれ。
The more I think about it, we didn't really see much of Issei as we continued along with the story in the last go-around. But I do feel like something is up with him and his involvement with what's really going on here. Especially since, well, his temple has kind of been taken over by Caster. I don't know if he's necessarily a master, but there still are masters that we have not met yet. I wouldn't be surprised if Assassin is the servant of Issei. Or Caster, Well, maybe not Caster. I want to say Caster's master would probably be a woman. But, I don't know. To attack like 50 people, majority being men, there seems to be something going on. Maybe her master is a man. Maybe that's why she eventually kills him. I don't know. Issei says and puts his head down on the table.
なんだ、徹夜でもしたのか？お山じゃ、11時には絶対就寝じゃなかったっけ？
うん。そうなのだが、最近寝つきが良くない。いくら眠っても疲れが取れなくてな。おかげでここ数日は暇さえあれば眠っている。
Unless he's also a victim. Maybe him just being there, there's so much shit going on that he doesn't even realize it.
なんだそりゃ。暇さえあれば眠ってるんなら眠気なんてないだろう。
I think he once talked about there being like I don't know if it was him. When we first got a tip that something was going on there at the temple, I think he was talking about how there's like a special guest or somebody staying up there and it's kind of affecting everybody, and maybe that's Caster.
ああ、 はそうなのだがな。いくら眠っても疲れが取れないゆえ、疲れを取るために眠らざるを得ないのだ。矛盾していると分かってはいるのだが、眠いものは仕方がない。
春にはまだ早いんだけどな、一世。
春眠暁を覚えずか。誠に耳が痛い。
Issei doesn't even try to get up. Nothing for it, I guess. It seems pretty bad, so I'll keep him company until break is over.
あれ、ああ、エイセ、誰か来たぞ。
知らん。生徒会は店じまいだと言ってやれ。
いや、そう言ってもいいんだが、やってきたのはくずき先生っぽいぞ。
それはまずい。
Issei slowly gets up and opens the door. It is him.
今朝の弓道部の件だが。
What's going on about that club? Kuzuki stops his words after seeing that I'm here. Oh, god damn it, he has a complicated ass name. Soichiro Kuzuki is the homeroom teacher of Class 2A and is also in charge of the student council. He is the strictest teacher of this school and regarded as unfriendly.
それじゃあ、うちにも帰ってないんですか？
そのようだ。おそらく刑事事件になるだろう。分かっているだろうが、むやみに話すことは避けるように。
それは分かっています。ですが、そうなるとマトはどうしたんですか？あいつが昨日会っていたと、弓道部の一年が言っていたじゃないですか。
Oh no.
それに関しても同じだ。マト真司も無断欠席しており、家も留守だそうだ。妹であるマトさくらは、藤村先生の家に泊まっていたというし、事情は知らされていない。
Damn, maybe it's a blessing in disguise. Well, you know what? Actually, it's not even a blessing in disguise. We all knew that it was a good idea for Sakura to be away from her home. Shinji's a horrible person. But I think Shinji is acting here. I think he's done something, probably to Mitsuzuri. Issei and Kuzuki are talking about disturbing stuff. To summarize what I overheard, there's a student that has been missing since yesterday, and Shinji is the last person she was seen with.
邪魔をしたな。そういった事情もある。また下校時間が早まるだろう。
Oh, lovely. Kuzuki just states his business and leaves.
まったく。なあ、エミヤ。お前、シンジを見なかったか？
Nope. And we'll worry about all that in the next episode. If I can find my mouse pointer. Yeah, that bug is still happening here. I really wonder how many save slots we have here, because I've used a shit ton. Alrighty, yeah, we'll wrap it up there and see what's going on with Shinji and the school here, because things are happening. We're noticing things are happening. But it's only Monday, and I forget when when Shinji and Ryder decide to attack. They definitely do it earlier than expected, but we'll have to see when things go down, or how things continue to change. But thank you all for tuning in. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, all that fancy jazz. Again, like I said in the beginning of this episode, thank you for your continued patience and understanding. And I really am happy to see just a little bit more of the norm come back so we can continue on here with Fate. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next one. Take it easy, guys.